Are you a big piece of poop plopping into a toilet?
Close. I am I am someone throwing a duffel bag full of guns used at a crime scene into a lake.
Hot damn.
Blah, blah.
That's way more cool than poop.
Yeah, well, no, because the people were shot at.
Ah, well, less cool.
And this is
I
the
gave up
thing.
immediately.
No, you did. It's sometimes impersonations can lead to awkward places.
Yeah.
This is why not everyone should do them.
Yeah, that's true.
And myself am definitely not one of these people who should do them.
Hey, I applaud your bravery. I don't do them. That's why you do the sound every week.
This is why you're supportive. And if you're listening for the first time, that supportive human being is Dr. Caitlin Cook.
I'm a doctor.
A doctor of support.
I'm a doctor of support, and the person that I am supporting is Admiral Sean Patton.
I am an admiral
because people admire him.
Admire how bad my impressions are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And in the army of terrible impressionists, in the Navy. I'm sorry, Admiral be in the Navy.
Your eyes say, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah,
but I don't care.
In the Navy of bad impressionists, I'm an admiral.
There you go.
And the only reason, and that's why we saw the guns floating in the bag, because we're in the water.
Are you higher up in the Navy of bad impressions by rank, the worse your impressions get, or are you lower down?
The worse your impressions get, and the more confident you are in doing them. It's a two-sided.
Got it.
Two-sided trident.
I have no confidence in my impressions, so I don't do them.
There you go. That's why you wouldn't be in the shitty Navy of impressions.
I would not. Well, our guest, I don't know about her impressions because we didn't ask her on them.
Well, wait, what's this podcast they're listening to? Oh. People who've never heard it before.
I gotta do.
You
the
might be a first-time listener.
You could be a first-time listener.
And you clearly don't like reading the
Never
blurbs.
caller, and you don't like reading. Okay, so this is 5 Words. The podcast is the podcast where we play this game that we've been playing even before we started the podcast. Basically, when someone's like, "Oh my God, I have a great story to tell you," we say, "Wait, tell us 5 key words from the story," and then we're going to try and figure out what the story is based on those 5 keywords. So that's what we do on the podcast. We have a guest, most often a comedian. I don't know if we've ever had a non-comedian on our podcast yet.
Chris Funk of the...
That's true, of the Decemberists.
Musician. You've heard of him.
Great story, though. But yeah, so we have on the guests. They tell us 5 keywords from a story, and then we tell them what we think the story is based on those 5 keywords and what we know about our guest. That was the longest intro I've done in a while, and I apologize.
And guess what? We're never, quote unquote, wrong. And by wrong, I mean right. We're never right.
We're never right. I got a little bit close today, but
close. Yeah. Today's guest, she was an Olympic. Well, first of all, she was qualified for the Olympics.
Yes.
She was able to fucking compete. Not compete, but what am I saying? Try out for the Olympics. You can't just.
She tried out like 3 times.
Yeah, you can't even. That's hard to do. She's been on the U.S. swim team. Twice, the national swim team, and now she's
with worlds and stuff. Yeah.
A stand-up comedian.
Yep.
Very interesting story. Her name is
Laura Sogar.
Yep. Laura Sogar.
And she has crazy amazing stories about being a very elite athlete.
Well, she was nice enough to open up about. I mean, if you're on a podcast, you probably want to open up about stuff. It'd be weird to have a podcast guest. You're like, so do you want to talk about this? And they're like, no, I don't. I'm just shy and I don't want to talk about anything.
That would be weird.
Yeah, she was very open. She was an open book about. Growing up an athlete.
Yeah.
A professional athlete, nonetheless. And we talk about what kind of money there is in swimming.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize how much there actually is. I'm not going to say if it's high or low. Listen to the episode to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I can't be the only person who's ever been like, I wonder how much money a professional swimmer makes.
Yeah, it's also
You'll
crazy.
Find out.
You'll find out, but she talks about how she's met Michael Phelps a bunch of times and how the swimming athlete world is like comedy in which, it's small and you meet people pretty quickly.
And she has one of the more, I'm going to say harsh or blunt, welcome to New York stories out there. Yeah. So give this episode a listen. It's pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
And if you are listening to this right now, and you find yourself in the Colorado region.
Yep.
And specifically Steamboat Springs, Colorado, one of our favorite towns.
Or Denver.
I was getting there.
Okay.
But Steamboat Springs first, just because it's further up in the mountain. Mm-hmm. We will be there October 17th.
Yep.
At the Steamboat Bowl.
Snowball.
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 Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Well, look on our Instagram pages,
Yeah.
but it's that shows at 3 p.m. and then we're in Denver on the 18th. That shows at 8 p.m. Secret will be joined by, I'm not going to tell you his name, but I'll give you some clues. He DJs as well as does comedy. He's open for Dave Chappelle and Michael Che, and he was a guest on this episode. Or not on this episode, on this podcast.
Yeah.
And his name is Cypher Sounds. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but there are some clues. He'll be joining us.
Yeah.
As well as Adam Caton Holland, also a guest.
Yep.
And Sam Talent, a future guest.
Yes.
So check us out.
Those last two just on the Denver show, though. We should clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's at Ratio Bear Works. So.
Yeah, in Denver.
Yep.
That. So come see us, Colorado, because we're coming to see you.
Damn. I'm very excited. All right. Enjoy the episode. Bye-bye.
Vote early. Now, here is something I like to ask. You like how it rolled right into that?
Yeah, you did.
Here is something I like to ask all guests of ours. What is your interpretation of how your last name is pronounced?
Great one, because I get a lot of them. Sogar.
Yeah. You nailed it. You nailed
Good.
it. It's like, what is Laura's last name?
Yeah, a lot of people do Sogar.
Sogar.
Which is fair, but there's an A. I'm like, that would be more of an E.
Yeah.
Soger would be Sogar. And I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm just happy someone's calling me.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Call me what you want. I don't care.
Now, I empathize and sympathize because I can never remember which one it is.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Sympathize is when you've experienced it yourself, right?
I honestly cannot remember the difference between sympathize.
Neither can I.
I think empathize is putting yourself in someone else's shoes, and sympathize is like you've gone through it.
Right.
As well.
So I both.
I'll fact check
because my
myself.
last name is Patton, which in a lot of ways is, especially in the United
straightforward.
States. Yeah. Or if you were around or heard about World War II, it's a very famous last name, and the amount of Peyton I get.
Patton.
But the amount of like Sean Payton, and I'm like, Ken.
Is it just everyone's a huge fan of the Saints?
I was about to say that's got to be a sports thing.
Yeah. I would love if that were true.
Like, I look at you and I see sports.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
Yeah, football. Saints,
because I'm shaped like a football. That's what it is. Tiny head, tiny feet, huge gut.
Well, I can sympathize / empathize, whichever one is correct, because people are always like, Caitlin Kook, you know, all the time.
That's just your nickname, though.
Yeah.
You're a fucking kook. Well, no, because I said Sogar, and then
nailed it.
I had that moment where I was like, fuck. What if it's Sogar though? What if I'm just gonna confidently say Laura Sogar?
I probably wouldn't have corrected you.
Right.
I would have been like, that's what I'm now called. I'm right.
Well, and I'm friends. We're friends with your significant other, and I considered texting him. But then I was like, no, because then that's cheating.
Yeah.
Because then I was going so confident, like, Sogar. Ha ha ha.
Well, it's very empathetic of you to care so much about how the pronunciation was received.
Once again, as someone who gets Peyton. Or the amount of Cians I've gotten.
That's got to be like
don't
Midwest or something. I don't, dude.
Yeah.
No, that's just dumb.
I'm trying to make an excuse for this.
But then you look at like less popular Irish names that have made it to America, and you're like, this is spelled very strangely.
Kyron.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Roisin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I've gotten Cian from like a couple of foreign like cab drivers. I get that. They don't see the name Sean a lot.
Yeah.
Fair.
Back in wherever they
in another country.
In other
whatever.
countries, right?
Sure.
But like
Yeah.
when I get it from like some fucking 25-year-old. Wait, is your name? What is it? Cian? I'm like, what are you
dumb.
doing?
That is dumb.
Is this your first time out of the house? What are you doing?
No,
You knew?
man. Nah, man, I just forgot.
Halfway through saying it, I forgot.
I just forgot the rules of grammar and shit. This is so. Phone calls.
No, it's all good.
It's all good.
Declined.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
From a Dallas area code, which means likely not important.
Are you from Dallas?
I briefly lived there. Well, my parents did. I got my new phone number, and then since then, everyone's been like, "Why did Dallas area code?"
Oh, interesting.
They really cannot grasp. Like, cell phone is mobile.
Yeah.
It comes with you.
Yeah.
That really throws them off.
I have had a Slidell, Louisiana area code for 17 years now.
That's awesome.
It's just, there's no reason to change it. There's no reason.
Yeah, it's going to cause
shit.
way more trouble than just being like, oh yeah, I got it in Louisiana, or I got it briefly in Dallas.
Exactly. Yeah, I've had my LA area code for a long time. Wait, where did you grow up though?
Wait,
Rhode
hold on.
Island.
Really quick, let's just point out LA area code.
Yeah.
And of all the LA area codes, you've got the cool one.
Yeah.
323.
I do.
That's like
really
Hollywood,
cool.
Beverly Hills-ish. That's like dope,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, when I was growing up, it was
TV show shit.
213,
Right.
and then they switched the zones of different area codes. And I remember my mom being very upset about it. She was like, I'm 213 till I die.
I feel like 213 is like downtown. I don't know why I said it like that. Racist. No, I've heard fucking blue-eyed, blonde-haired guys talk like that in California. Hey, man.
Is this the same Sian guy?
Yeah. Hey, Sean, what are you doing, dude? You want to go downtown?
They just mix different accents. They have no idea.
They don't know
No
anything.
personality.
Yeah.
The sun bakes their brain.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yeah.
Like Rhode Island, so Providence is an amazing city.
And that's it.
And
That's all we've got. Yeah, you're right. Nailed it.
wait, no, there was a place we went.
Newport.
Newport.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
I take it back. Providence and Newport.
Yeah.
But
are pretty
Newport's a
dope.
little baby.
Newport's an island off
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
which is mostly
Yeah.
famous for the mansions that it has.
It was
Taylor
very
Swift
pretty.
had one.
Oh shit!
I know, and
Like
they're
those are probably
it's-
so old.
it's so old.
Yeah.
Like they have like, some questionable backgrounds. You can tour some of them, which is cool. They're
Yeah.
right on the boardwalk, like so they
That's
look out
very
over
cool.
like it's like Great Gatsby shit
Mm-hmm.
looking.
Yeah.
Definitely worth going to take a look at if you're ever there.
Yeah.
So.
Is that where the Rogue Island Festival
It
There's
is.
a comedy
Okay.
festival.
I think
Next
it's
time
in
we go
Newport.
there, we'll have
Yeah.
to check out.
Oh
the
yeah,
houses.
definitely in Newport. And that's
Yeah.
when we were there.
It's just such a beautiful area to walk
it's
around.
fucking
Oh my
awesome.
god! But the winter's so bad. They're so terrible.
Because because so I grew up in New Orleans, and as our listeners are probably like, yeah, we fucking know, dude.
Did you?
Yeah. No, wait, really? If you repeat it enough,
How about
it seems
15
new
minutes
every
on that?
time.
Hey, there might be new listeners just joining us
Can
for
we?
the first time.
We should do a supercut every 50 episodes of how many times I say, I'm from New Orleans, 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 NOLA, New Orleans, New Orleans, New
There's
Orleans.
so much editing for me.
Yeah.
Just, we'll do that.
Yeah, I'll just do that for-
the super good.
Well, so Southerner, yes, love it. But I truly feel like my other, if there was another, I identify with New Englanders so much.
Yeah.
Just across the board, specifically the shitty weather.
Yeah.
And
New Orleans, yeah, you guys have
all the time,
wild
all the
weather.
time.
yeah.
Just fucking smacked around by Hurricane Delta.
Yep. Just
2
that's
days
just,
ago.
Yeah. Once a week.
Yeah,
Are we
hurricane.
getting
Delta.
hurricane this week? Or we're getting a hurricane.
Yes.
That's great.
You think that is a very accurate portrayal
Yeah.
of your average New Orleanian. Like, oh shit, there is a hurricane this week.
Ah.
But I like something about like this sort of like shitty, salty-aired,
Oh yeah.
like, but then like but
Like
fall.
fishermen kind of like beaten by the wind.
Give me that shit.
I was like in a rowboat. Just
Yeah, very grizzled.
looking for clams.
born with calluses.
Yeah.
And splinters.
I mean,
Yeah. But I just fucking vibe with it, and like also just the jump between like sort of hoity-toity,
oh yeah.
upper class, high overeducated,
Yeah.
mixed with like down and dirty, just in the
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
in the
Saying-
streets, in the mud.
2/3 of the syllables
Yeah.
are making it out.
yeah.
Like, what are you saying?
Just like,
Oh, yeah.
that's the perfect.
Yeah.
Because like people don't realize that like I often call Connecticut the Mississippi of New England.
yeah.
Because they share one huge or two. It's like people in Mississippi are either very rich or very poor, and that seems to be the same thing in Connecticut.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
either like the Yale
hedge fund
Hedge
or
fund,
Yale
yeah.
or meth addict.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's Fairfield, Connecticut, or nothing else.
Yeah. But like
No
we're-
hate though. Love ya.
Yeah, you're great. We need you. But I don't know. Yeah, like I have a Newport was fucking cool, and I love that like seaman town.
Oh yeah.
And
Love
I mean,
semen, we get it. All right.
Yeah, we're all 50% seamen, and I mean the people. We're all
Just
half of
rowing through the world.
us. Rowing through the world, rowing through
Looking for
Mother
ladies?
Earth's womb, looking for an egg. You know, and by that I mean to birth an idea. All right, now I'm just.
So I used to lifeguard, though. Did you guys by chance go to Narragansett when you were there?
I drank the beer.
Famous for the beer, exactly.
Yeah.
That's once again, that's pretty much it. But they have beautiful beaches, and I used to lifeguard on those beaches. Cool. So, like, if you're going to go to the beach on the southern area of Rhode Island, you'll go to Narragansett Beach, and then Newport, then Providence, and then that's it. That's pretty much what we got. TF Green Airport. That's what we got.
but for the world, for the smallest state, that's a lot of shit.
Yeah. That's a good 2 to 3 days of stuff to do.
Yeah. That's like when you go into someone's really nice 1-bedroom apartment, and you're like, hey, so you got 2 flat screens.
Yeah. Why?
That's a lot of flat screens. That's a lot of TV.
You could use some of this money for another room.
Yeah. Or move. But no, you're right. Well, that's so funny. You talk about Narragansett. I picture like that version of Baywatch. Where it's like you're up in it, you see someone drowning, like fuck.
Yes. Oh my God, that'd be a great sketch, actually. New England lifeguard, just like shit.
And you're running.
Take the buoy. Get the buoy.
Someone's drowning. You're like, fuck. Who is it? You have to ask who it is. Who is it?
That guy's an asshole.
He's a fucking twat. I love the idea of like running to save him, and like you blow out your foot on like a plant, like an oyster shell, like fuck.
Razors.
There's so many sketches you could do with this.
Oh, that's actually a very good idea.
Yeah.
God
All right,
damn it,
guys, we're starting.
God damn it! Why wasn't I on the writing staff last week when Bill Burr just hosted?
Damn it!
But.
That would have been fun.
Now wait, because is that where so lifeguarding was that your entryway? Because you're like an accomplished swimmer.
I'm a very. I swam on the U.S. national team for a long time, and I got second place at Worlds in the 200 breaststroke. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is I had a 20-year swimming career.
Wow.
I know. You start really young. I don't remember before I started, so that's kind of weird.
What age did you start?
5. Yeah, I got competitive at 5, by the way.
Oh,
Lessons at like 2.
Wow.
Wow. Can you learn at that point? I guess you can pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, babies have swim classes.
Yeah, that was me, and then I just kind of kept on going. But so no, I didn't like get introduced from like Narragansett.
You were already.
So actually, I got recruited to be a lifeguard for them because we had this thing called Guard Games, which is this competition with all the different beaches across the state or eventually country and world.
I mean, how right? That's
I know. You're right.
If I'm a fucking TV executive, I'm like green light it.
Guard Games.
Green light
Guard
it.
Games.
How is this not?
And literally, I got approached to have this job because I was a really fast swimmer in Rhode Island, and one of the races was like there's the paddleboard competition, and then there's a straight up swimming competition.
Right.
And I was like the ringer that they like brought in. They gave me the best schedule because I had to swim. I had to go to like practice. So I would just kind of go like get tan on the beach and like, guard. I mean, we saved a couple people, but I was very much there for the social component and like the pictures. I was like, oh my God, I love my job. It's so hard. And then did Guard Games, and that was my summer. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Do you? Because like I often wish, because like I grew up similar. I grew up in the water basically.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up I can swim. I love water. I love swimming. But you're like probably like a classical pianist, obviously, and I'm like someone who can kind of play the drums. If we're talking about making,
we need everybody.
Right. But
water safety is important.
I can swim extremely well.
Yeah.
The only thing that I remember the only thing that freaked me out was when I was learning to swim, when I like had to go to swim lessons because it was part of like physical education in summer camp. It was weird. At all boys school, doing the life float, where you just like float for 30 seconds, then pop up and take air. That always freaked me out because I was always like, I would never be in this situation. I can swim really well. See,
things have gone awry here.
I would, but I wish that I would have stuck with swimming throughout, like just done it on some level, on a team or just something every day because it's the best for your body.
It's very good for you.
It's 100% the best for you. Everybody I know I have friends who were on the swim team in high school. I'm 41, they're my age, who've been smoking and drinking and eating unhealthily and have kids and still can take off their shirts and have lats. And
the lats and the shoulders.
Yeah. It's like
I don't do arms anymore. I don't do arms. They're all set.
Yeah, I went to Kenyon College in undergrad, which had like a great swim team. And I just remember someone calling the male swimmers triangle bodies at some point, and I was like,
tiny hips, big shoulders.
I would have loved it if when you
Women
were like,
too.
Yeah, I would have loved it if when you were like, Kenyon had a good swim team. You'd be like, well,
I mean, we were deep.
Shit all over again. They were all. Goodbye, everybody. All right.
They were. No, but like do you still the thing? Because I remember talking to. Someone we were talking to someone who was a swimmer. And I can't remember who it was.
Was the swimmer?
So Vince?
No.
Will
Kerrigan.
Oh, our friend Will, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about the diet. How like you consume so many calories.
Totally. Well, men especially.
Yeah.
I
We hate it. Why?
Yeah. No, but growing up, especially like as I was growing, I grew super fast. So that's part of the reason that I was good at swimming was that I was, the size of a college-aged man, as a child. So it worked. You go fast when you do that. So I got good pretty early, and especially going through those growth spurts, you could eat just ridiculous amounts of food. Like my parents were like, what's happening? I would eat a rack of ribs between sessions of a competition.
Wow.
Like we'd go and I'd eat a rack of ribs and then I'd go back and I'd swim like the finals of the night, which is wild. But then as you get older, of course, like what's weird is when you're older as a swimmer, and especially as a woman, like, and your metabolism starts to, like, neutralize a little bit more, swimming was, like, the equivalent of walking for me, just, like, normal swimming. I'd really have to push it in order to, like, get into those more intense heart rate zones. When you walk around, like, you're obviously burning calories, but it's not... No. You're not going to, like, take a rack of ribs down anymore. And it's because my, technique was pretty good. Like, I was very efficient in the water is the point. Right. Which is a little frustrating when you're spending hours and hours in the water and you're like, but realistically, I still ate quite a bit of food.
So the whole idea of like, don't eat or don't swim after you eat is harsh yet. Or
it depends on your stomach. I would eat during practices. Get out, like eat a bar and like jump back in. Like,
well, I saw that once.
So funny.
What do they call? I forget what they call it, but it's the swimming equivalent of a marathon.
Oh, open water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have the feeding. Have you seen the feeding stations? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I don't know that.
No, it's wild. You think it's like a shark's, like, they're like, oh, this is great. But they literally have these little goo packs, like the ones that you'd see like for marathons and stuff. And you swim up to the feeding station and they like throw it down to you and you like squirt it in your mouth and throw the trash back up or like tuck it in or something and keep swimming. Weird. But these races, they're like, oh my God, they're so terrible. I did one open water race.
You did? Oh, shit.
No. It didn't end so well. I was a breaststroker. I went 200, I'll do the 400 IM, and that's where I tap out. I don't like going past that. These are 400 yards versus 10,000 yard races. Crazy. They go up to 25,000, which is miles and miles and miles. Hours. These races are hours and hours.
Hours and in like actual open water, not in a pool.
In ocean.
In an ocean.
So it's wild.
That's
so they'll eat and stuff like that during it. It's also like just a lot of. It's so boring. But I tried to do one. I mean, you're in there for hours and you're just like, where the fuck? What am I doing?
Yeah.
I tried to do one in Hawaii. They like gave us the opportunity to like sign up for. We were young at that point, and I just like, no, maybe you'll like it.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I got stung by a jellyfish. Got out quarter of the way through. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get me back on the boat. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to the beach. I'm gonna lay out. I think I lose this race.
Yeah. And I've been peeing the whole time, so that's bullshit. Jellyfish was not afraid.
Well, people that like run marathons or I guess swim marathons are just like a different breed of people in my head. Yeah.
Completely different. They're the training everything about it just sounds so shitty to me.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing appealing.
No, I've never been a distance runner. People are like, one day it's on my bucket list. Like I'll run a marathon. And I'm like,
I did a half marathon and I was like, that's fine. I just imagine double that. No thanks. I'm all right.
Marathon, I find that marathon, and this is a compliment, marathon people either they have something they have to reflect on, or they have a whole goddamn apartment full of demons they need to murder. And they need some time.
It's a mental exercise more than physical exercise.
Yeah. They've got a whole walk-in closet full of skeletons to sort through.
Yeah, they're just meditating on.
And then what about like the ultra marathon people? Those, oh my God. I'll run like 50 miles.
Those people are trying to get away from something.
They're wanted.
and they want the world to know. But
that is a cry for help if I've ever seen it.
Fun party people, though.
Yeah.
You know what, did you ever, because that's what's always interesting to me. Like, I remember, this wasn't that long ago, but I remember, like, being in New York, watching Michael Phelps. Mm-hmm. Like, it was being here during those Olympics.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe it was 08. I believe it was 08 Olympics.
He did a number of them, but 08
was the year he, like...
Yeah. Was 08 the 8 golds one? No, that was 12, I think.
Oh, maybe.
London?
Because he did... Beijing was the one where he, like...
There was one where it felt like he was introduced to the world as, like, a massive celebrity.
He made it at, like, 14, which is, for men, unheard of. Unheard of, because, like, think of how much boys grow. In their like later teens.
Yeah.
So at 4, do you know any 14-year-old boys? Holy shit,
that's
you guys!
So crazy.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I was like, I don't.
No, I know.
No 14-year-olds.
Yeah. Next time you meet one, just be like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The best in the country.
That's so insane.
Well, like that was always
he's a phenom, like incredible.
Mm-hmm. Have you met him?
Oh yeah, I've done a number of. It's like comedy. Like the world starts to get much smaller, you know, at a certain level.
Yeah.
You do the same competitions, like especially for swimming. Like you're all going to like nationals and Olympic trials and the Grand Prix meets or like different like world championships and stuff. And I was never on a U.S. team with him. But I went on training camp with them in Colorado Springs where we did triples, which is 3 practices in one day, which is too many That's too many practices in my opinion. That is triple the amount of practice I want to be doing.
No.
That's like when you get out. That's I imagine like after that when you eat. I've only experienced this after. I mean, I'm not an athlete, so I don't have much to compare it to. But I do like when after Katrina, another thing I talk about too much.
15 minutes.
Yeah. Katrina. But I was working with FEMA, we were gutting houses. But it would just be like all day work.
Yeah.
And I remember eating dinner. It was this sort of hungry where you felt your muscles soaking in the...
Exactly.
It's like I feel my body...
It's more like a science lab kind of thing than like...
For
it's
nutrients.
not like hunger for like, oh, I'm excited for dinner. It's
no,
like...
I need it.
It's like sustenance.
And so we were... for that camp in particular, we were at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, which is a high altitude camp.
Thirsty.
That's why you go. That's why you go, because your blood literally develops more red blood cells. Like you go there for over 10 days is like the goal. We were there for like 3 weeks that time, and you're like on the campus, like basically locked into this location. There's a pool. There's like the gym with the weights, and then you walk up, and then there's the cafeteria where they have all like your like portioned out shit and stuff, and then there's the dorms where you go to bed. So like you just get up, eat, pool, eat, weights, pool, eat, maybe nap, eat, like that's pool,
so crazy.
Back. Like it's literally way more scientific at that point than it is living life. But you're there for a camp, so you're there for a very specific purpose, and it's like get strong.
Yeah. When did you like transition out of this lifestyle?
2016. I was supposed to make the U.S. Olympic team that year, and I did not. Oh, no. And I was like, I'm quit. I retired. I know, very fun.
Well, what's interesting. Well, really interesting because everything you just said that went into swimming and talking about comedy.
It's a lot of parallels.
It's a lot of parallels, specifically though. I think for fucking ding dongs who watch it and just go, I could do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
There are 2 things that require, like, swimmers are, without a doubt, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion, the best athletes. Like, it's
law.
You're working, but you're working muscles that you don't even know you have.
You also don't breathe.
Yeah.
While you do it, you're like, what if we do all this work and then no oxygen?
Right. Yeah.
Skip it.
Like
that's wild.
I've met a lot of swimmers that are amazing singers for that reason.
I bet. Like your lungs just get so strong.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like comedians, we're probably, arguably, like it's one of the harder.
It's a grind.
Harder, like skill set, talent, craft, whatever you want to call it, abilities to get good at. But so many people watch comedy, and I think the reason comedy doesn't get fully respected all the time is because everyone thinks they're funny.
Yeah.
And I think you watch swimming, and you're like, I could fucking swim. Who the fuck can't do that? But you don't realize what goes in, especially form. You talk about the breaststroke.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone thinks, it's just, it's like, that shit, you're working everything from your rib cage to your
It's wild.
ears.
Yeah.
I always said
know?
they should add one lane in the Olympics where it's just like, someone who is
Average
a swimmer.
Joe?
Average Joe swimmer.
That's
right?
That's an incredible
Where I'm just like,
idea.
listen, this bitch isn't going to make it across the pool at all.
in every single
that's fucking
sport
funny.
they should
I
do
would
this.
love
I
that.
would watch
Just to
the shit
give,
out of
I would
that.
watch, absolutely.
Yeah.
Viewership would go through the roof.
Yes.
Dude,
Oh
just,
my God.
just add in
Brilliant.
the average Joe lane.
Just a dude. And
Yeah.
a guy who's just like, yeah, I can swim. I can swim
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's
Whatever.
see it, buddy.
I'll
my
finish it,
God.
and it's like, we're still waiting for
It would be-
Cliff from Pittsburgh to get across the pool. You know?
So
Additional
many people would sign up
minutes.
for this.
Oh my
just to be
God.
humiliated.
NBC, are you listening?
Yeah, exactly. This episode, we
We've
might
come up
need to
with a lot of-
trademark.
Yeah.
We've got like 4 ideas in
patent
here
pending,
alone.
yeah.
Mhm. But okay, so but when, because you said 2016 you didn't make the team.
Yes.
Was it like a decision? Here, I got 2 questions
Yeah.
for you.
No,
2
there's a lot.
seconds.
That was a big,
Yeah.
big sentence at you.
Yeah.
But I always how do professional swimmers
How does it
earn
work?
money?
Yeah. Well, good point. That's a really good point,
'cause,
Andy.
there's weird
I
things
know.
about taking endorsements, right?
I always see, so a couple things. In
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
when you're trained, a lot of the times, the way the swimming thing works is you'll train through high school on your club team.
Right.
Sometimes people get really good in high school, like Missy Franklin, Katie Ledecky, folks like that.
Right.
And then it's kind of weird, are they going to swim in college or not? That is super rare. More often than not, what you'll do is you don't take any money at that point.
Right.
By the way, this is not major money we're talking about, unless you're one of those rare
Yeah.
exceptions.
Right.
Then you swim in college where it's NCAA, you're an amateur, which is a lot of questions around that. But that's either way. Point being, you're not allowed to take any prize money or
Right.
endorsement money. And then afterwards, if you continue swimming,
Right.
you can take endorsements. So I was sponsored by Arena, which is, those competitive swimsuits that go to your knees.
Oh, I actually.
Oh, yeah.
I actually in my head
Swimsuit
know-
model for those,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is pretty big difference.
That's hilarious.
Android
Yeah,
swimsuit
right?
model, yes. But they're so expensive. They're like $500. So and get the gear, and they pay you smaller amounts of money. And so there's that as a
Yeah.
potential revenue source. And then there's stipends that are available. They're basically grants from the USOC, which is the United States Olympic Committee. Depending on you have to be literally top 16 in the world in order to qualify for some a couple grand a month.
Right.
And then the third thing you can do is teach clinics, which I did as well. So I would do, and I still do those sometimes, clinics on the weekends where you teach a big group of kids, more advanced techniques, going back to clubs and stuff like that.
But when
You're going to be poor is
Right. Okay.
reality is it's always so funny because obviously now in the comedy world, people are still it's a gig thing. You're trying
Yeah.
to scrape everything together. I'm like,
Right.
yo, you're fine.
Yeah.
Compared to being a swimmer, this is no problem.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
But a Michael Phelps or someone in that.
Yeah,
realm,
well, that's
that's
totally
just
different.
endorsements.
Totally
and-
different.
Yeah.
But think how many swimmers can you name?
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Phelps.
Sure,
That's 2 names. One name.
that's a great point.
Yeah, I really can't. I
mean, don't get me wrong. Once again, I think that there's a lot they could do to bring more life to the sport because it's really tough when you cover most of your head.
Yeah.
You are in the water. It's very difficult to get engaged in these athletes' lives.
Underwater cameras.
Yeah.
It's just film the entire thing from the bottom.
Yeah.
Just
Zoom in on the face. I'm like,
Yeah. or they could, and I'm sure you know this, imagine and you just kind of said it with the average Joe lane, but excuse me, do a version of swimming that is like the XFL or extreme swimming. Get instead of just across a pool, do underwater obstacle courses.
Totally.
Do a TV show like American Ninja Warrior that is just.
But
swimming.
the point being, you're right. I think they've tried to think of more creative kind of ways to engage. Thank God for social media. That's actually helped quite a bit, and which is fairly recent that came around. I was in college when Instagram and all that stuff came about.
Yeah,
but that's helped a lot for the sport because now there's
Yeah.
another avenue for them to get in touch with fans and build a base around it.
I feel I probably follow some of the gymnasts and
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast with one recently about you just you have a leg up if you come from a wealthy family, just in every aspect.
I mean, this is one of the many areas in which that is a help.
Yeah.
But absolutely. And I mean, the one thing that is nice about swimming swimming though compared to like gymnastics. Like I really liked this about swimming, and I think comedy again hits like a similar thing. You either hit the wall first or you don't. Like you either make the audience laugh or you don't. Like it's very honest on like if you've done the work and if you're actually good or not. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, maybe you tapered. What tapering is when you rest for like an end of the season competition. So maybe you like did that early and like did well at a race that you shouldn't have done well at or whatever.
Right.
But or maybe you were like a, you know, big social media following. So the audience was all like, you know, your fans. So they laugh at anything you say.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's not like my roommate was on the diving team, Marin Taylor. She was on the U.S. diving team, and it's so political.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounded terrible. Like you have to like qualify for the amount of spots, like for the country, and then like who gets picked is based on judges, who of course are going to probably favor who they want. And like,
that's because diving is like a super niche.
Oh, it is.
You know what I mean? There's only so much to go around, but I think it's one of those things where it's like there's only so much to go around, but everyone involved acts like they are just loaded and floating in on. It's like, but you're diving, you're jumping off of a.
Oh yeah.
You know?
But the thing is that's weird is like to be the best in the world at any random ass thing. Diving, swimming, anything. Chess, like you have to dedicate
eating hot dogs.
Your whole like majority of your life is that.
It's
gonna be that's what you're doing. And I think just the dedication that it requires is not fully captured by when you watch the Olympics for 2 minutes and you're like, that's pretty fast.
Yeah. Whoa. Or like
sick.
For me, it was like being in a bar and being like, oh shit, oh wow, oh cool, all right, no, I'll do 2 more.
USA.
No, I'll take a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, okay, so then you realize there's a moment in 2016 where you're like, fuck it, I am walking away from this.
So, well, there was a couple things that went down. Let's back up. So this is my third Olympic trials. The Olympic trials in 2012, I got 4th place at Olympic trials. Top 2 make it.
Oh, shit, really?
Wow.
Yeah. So, which was fine. I had like a weird season that year, so I actually did much better than I anticipated.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I qualified for a couple other events and stuff like, there's like Olympics, and then of course there's like Worlds and various Pan-Pacific Championships. So it's not like that's like the only one that people really follow.
Right.
But there's a bunch of like really big competitions that you can make. So did some of that. I got to travel and I was like, oh, cool. I'll do this I had 1 more year of school. And then I was like, I can swim 3 more years professionally, like do the whole traveling around the world, like doing the World Cup circuit for a while. And at that point I was like, I don't really know what I want to do for like work anyway. Like I was working at a startup, so developing some job experience, but I was like, whatever. Like I might as well do this. And going into 2020, I'd had a really good season up until a certain...
Wait, 2020?
Nope, sorry, 2016. I'm thinking 2020 because that's the latest Olympics that just...
Like
that's the one that's still up in the forefront of my brain. 2016.
And it's the worst year of everyone's life. 2020.
Yeah. Glad I retired. Holy shit.
Oh my God. That would be so fucking terrible.
I feel so... I had like so many of my poor friends. I'm just like...
I know.
There's nothing you can even say.
Do they have to re-qualify for next year?
They never even got to trials this year.
Shit,
They pushed it a year, but like, so now they're like training, kind of.
For another year?
But like, also like, if you have access to a pool, like, kind of hope your state's open, like, so you can get to the, like, they couldn't train for months.
It's definitely the training. And then also like, you kind of, like the older you get, the worse it tends to be.
100%. A year is like a big difference. So that's in January of 2016, I went a time that would have won Olympic trials. Really good time. So I went in basically, I think I was seated, first or second or something going into the competition. And then I just did not do well at the competition. It's okay, dude. I'm funny as a result.
You seem a lot happier.
No, it was
not that I knew you before.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here I go.
I was so intense and so focused on these things, and like so driven, and I think it was a really good time for me to kind of reflect internally and be like, what do you want? So had a bit of a crisis in my early 20s, and I think it ended up helping quite a bit. Moved to New York, and here we are.
and well, it's also like, I mean, if anything, yes, everyone comedy is always,
These are champagne problems, by the way. Like, oh, she didn't make an Olympic team. Like, we feel so bad for her.
Yeah, well, but I mean, but
No,
the things that people. I know a lot of, not a lot, but a few comedians who are like, yeah, I was in school to get my PhD, and last year, and I was like, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't take all the studying. I just can't take all the.
Yeah,
that's wild.
And I don't want to be in that fucking world. You hear political a lot because it's political in every field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like now I know I'm talking about two specific comedians, but I'm also mixing it with Gail Benecker from Breaking Bad. Where it's like, you don't want to get into politics, so you start cooking meth. You're doing that for a few years. You're like, maybe I should try comedy. But I don't think comedy's ever a last. I don't like saying the word last resort. But I think for a lot of people, it's something that's really deep inside of you that you want to do. And there's a few layers of practicality between you and it. And everyone's always going to try the thing that they're like, well, no, I should be in school, or I've been swimming since I was 5. I should do that.
Sure.
It's like, and then eventually you get through all these layers and realize, like, no, this is what's been at my core.
Yeah,
I just couldn't realize it without experiencing these other things first.
And it's also tough because, like, for swimming, I was very...
And that's a lot of art forms.
I was very, very, very gifted at a young age. Like, I was really fast when I was little. And that's awesome. It was such a blessing. I got to do so many cool things as a result. But it was also like, well, you're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you're not going to do that. It also paid for my school, which I was so grateful for. Like, I got to do a lot of really cool... Met, like, so many of my friends through it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was never, like, a question of if that was going to be a thing I do or not. Because it was like, well, if you're that good at something, you've got to do it.
And you know what's so fucking insane is, like, especially with athletes, like, because I feel like there are a lot of former athletes, both professional, and on some levels you were professional. You were.
I was.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, okay,
I was
so you full on. Yeah.
On the U.S. team, like,
there you go,
I was sponsored by a couple brands.
There you
and
go.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, you were at a long swimwear.
Android swimwear.
But basically, like, there's quite a few professional athletes that have gone on to be successful in the arts, and it's such a thing where it's like, it's so interesting. Like, if you show a knack for, say, comedy or singing or something like that, young, but also a knack for some physical ability. Your parents, your community.
There's a strict timeline on that.
Yeah, they're
really
always just going to push you into the physical realm. I think 9 times out of 10, going to be like, nope, you're an athlete, go. Because I think to a lot of people, it's like, no, there's definite money, there's a path.
Yeah,
But
college athletics is huge.
But it's also like comedy, music, theater, anything. And if you are pushed and you do it well, you can do it for the rest of your life. The rest of your life up until your dying day if you really fucking hunker down on it. But
Absolutely.
we're rarely, I mean, I grew up in the South, like I've said, again, 1,000 times. Sports, if you showed even the slight, and I think this is everywhere in the country, you show the slight.
Especially America, we love sports.
You run,
love it.
You run a 40-yard dash in 5 seconds at a young age. You have a decent batting average in Little League, whatever it is. Everyone's like, push it, they're going to make it.
Yeah.
But you show talent, say, like in some school play or something, it's like, oh, well, that's ha-ha-ha, but...
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true with music, though. I feel like a lot of little kids are pushed into music.
Well, maybe now, but, like, I feel like when I was...
Also depending on your region.
Right.
I went to school at UT Austin, so I, saw a lot of... Oh, yeah.
Get it, boy. Longhorns.
Longhorns, hook 'em. But point being, we would go, like, you drive, and you're, like, in these towns that are, God, a couple thousand people, maybe.
Yeah.
Enormous football stadiums. Like, state-of-the-art football stadium. And you're like, why? You guys only farm.
You kind of...
What?
Yeah. I always...
What could they possibly be focused on here? And it's the community. It's like everything is just kind of driven around that sports mentality.
I like to hope those giant football stadiums are that big because they can fit every single person in the town, and they then convert into escape ships. and take these people back to Planet Red, back to Planet Football, Planet America.
Well, they're out there growing our corn.
Yeah.
Just happy as it, like, I mean, I guess I'm like, it's kind of beautiful. You guys can just entertain yourself right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just like a little contained ecosystem. Now, if we could just keep you just
sport.
right there.
And also sports there's zero controversy in sports themselves. Eventually down the line when athletes start getting fucking crazy and slapping women around or like...
That's the big leagues. Come on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That does not happen on the...
When they start, you don't have little leaguers
No.
slapping girls they like around yet. But yeah, when you get into like, it's but like in the idea of sports, there's zero controversy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Whereas art,
no
it's
one.
like, oh, what if they say anything, off brand, and there you go.
Yeah, no, that's a good point actually too. It's pretty cut and dry. What your rules, follow them.
Yeah.
But like, well.
Yes.
So when you started doing comedy, you started here.
I did.
I did not start here.
Did you start in?
I started in New Orleans, and then exactly.
New Orleans?
Well, Schaumburg, Illinois. I was there for a while. I don't mention that one nearly enough, but
Schaumburg.
No, but I feel like this is a fucking crazy place to start.
Holy shit! And then a pandemic. It's pretty cool too.
So when did you start performing?
Well, I did improv for a long time. I actually did improv while I was swimming for a little bit because I loved comedy. I was obsessed with it, but I didn't see stand-up as I didn't see a route to it.
I got to interject real quick. This is so fucking hilarious to me. The idea of because you're this lifelong swimmer, and you're doing improv with some pudgy
dude
45-year-old guy.
That's what I was obsessed with. I was like, I was in a group with an archaeologist.
Yeah.
Why? And a Renaissance fair guy. I have in my never met a person like this. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yes.
And you get into a scene where there's any physicality, and you end up accidentally throwing one of them across the stage.
Oh my god.
Or well, did you hear a high five?
I
just
also
broke your
would
hand.
go straight from practice, so I'd smell like chlorine. I'd be wet, like smelling like chlorine. They're just like, okay, yes, and
you're
we're in a
One.
pool.
Oh
I don't know why. But I did that in Austin. Then I did that for a few years when I came up here. I did the whole UCB magnet, pit, all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And then I started doing stand-up, and stand-up is way better. But it's interesting because I didn't realize you could just do it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there's no straightforward path, and I think that's really confusing to a lot
When
of
I
people.
kind of eventually really, I started dating Matthew, and I was like, so what's the path? And it's like, you just kind of go.
Yep. You just start.
Yep, you just kinda
Yeah. So I don't know why that's so simple, but it really blew my mind for a while.
Yeah. How did you guys meet?
Online, actually.
Oh, really?
Well, a little bit. So he followed my swimming because he went to school in Houston at Rice.
Yeah.
And he swam in high school, then was involved in the swimming community in Houston, and then I was in Austin. So we followed each other as a result from that. And it was met through Instagram, but also had a lot of mutual connections around. So it was not literally just slide into the DM. Yeah. Complete cold call.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you say online and I assume app, but it was no, you just followed.
It was an app. Yeah. Instagram.
Yeah. But not a dating app.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's because so Matthew Broussard. Also,
previous podcast.
Great guy.
He's done the app. He's done an app. Because when I met him, it was in Houston at the I think it was we were doing the improv
group?
maybe. No, it was a while back. It was 2000 maybe 13 or 14 I met. And I remember him being
that was in the beginning of his stand-up. Yeah, he had been doing probably 2 or 3 years at that point.
He was a youngster, but he was funny and you could tell. And I remember he was moving to LA.
Yep.
And I was very no, you should just move to New York. And I was because what they're going to do to you in LA is because Matt's we can all admit, Matt's a somewhat handsome, chiseled from stone fellow. And you want to be, and I'm like, what they're going to do, if you want to do stand up, you got to move to New York, because in LA, they're just going to push you to be, and this was this was before the Comedy Store was having its renaissance and podcasts were massive. I was they're going to just push, you're going to get an agent that's going to push you into a hosting, acting on network TV only, and you'll probably be successful, but it will leave you very little time to get very good at stand-up.
Yep.
And then he ended up in New York. I don't think I had very much to do with that decision, really, but
So what happened actually was we started dating distance. He was in LA, and I was in Austin, training. And then when I retired in 2016. I was like, okay, well, shit, I gotta leave Austin. I love Austin, but
city, yeah.
Amazing city. I lived there 7 years, though. It's just I will all of a sudden just be living here, I'll be 45 with kids, and why is that terrifying? That sounds like actually like it could have been a great sure.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I don't want this ideal American dream.
Yeah.
in the capital of America's state, Austin, Texas.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So I was looking for jobs, and I was looking in LA and New York, and then the job I ended up wanting to pursue that I got was in New York. So we both moved, which looking back, I'm like, that is an actually psychotic thing to do. We were dating long distance and then moved both of us together at the same time to New York and moved in together immediately.
Oh, I mean, like
after a year of dating, long distance.
I did that too.
Yeah, I know this one couple who they were dating long distance. She was in England, and he was in LA, and they somehow lasted 9 months of that, and got back together and moved to New York.
Yeah, and moved in together immediately.
And then moved to New York and moved in together.
Yeah.
Wow.
True.
That's you.
Yeah, but and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's a really nice guy. His name's
He's
Jeff.
all right.
What's his name?
I said he's all right.
Oh, okay. I thought you said his name's Ari. I was like, wait, what? I was joking. But no, the
It's just not traditional advice.
no, it's not traditional.
I'd be like,
No.
maybe.
Well, I can
get
say-
two apartments.
But hey, it worked out.
It
for
did very
all
much
of us.
so.
It worked out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's also like what was it? Fuck, I had something I was going to say and then I forgot and then I remembered. Oh, but yeah, moving here and starting because you could have started in Austin.
Yeah.
Could have.
I could have.
Yeah.
I really couldn't have done stand-up with the swimming, to be fair, because I had 5:30 in the morning practices.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the one.
Oh, yeah, sure. You couldn't have done
Improv
the-
was
yeah.
really the only thing that works
Yeah.
with swimming in terms of comedy. Just purely scheduling.
Yeah.
But then once I got to New York with stand-up, first I had to figure out my job shit for a little bit.
Yeah.
And the first job I had, I was traveling a ton. And but then I switched jobs, and that's when I started doing, getting more into the stand-up side.
Cool.
And I like it a lot better than improv. Let me tell you. Oh my god.
It's just a different because
Different skill set.
Improv is also a structure. It is definitely like a take these classes.
Oh, sure.
Move to the next one. Get on a team.
Oh my god,
all
but
this
I'm
shit.
obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with syllabuses.
Me too.
A lot of people are.
I like that structure.
I crave that, and that's one of the things that's awesome but frustrating with stand-up is it's so you just do whatever kind of
Yes.
you
Right.
kind of just do whatever.
Yeah. It's exactly
You're not
that.
gonna ever know if you did it right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why so many people struggle to get into it, or you're constantly asked the question, how do I start? Or do you think this is funny?
That's why we started our podcast.
Yeah.
Because I was just a lot of podcasts are aimed a little bit higher level. Where I'm what about for level 1?
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Tell me your podcast.
Yeah,
name.
She does stand up too.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And it's fun because Matt obviously, very accomplished stand up and is able to kind of, we're able to speak about both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
The references.
And that's with podcasting, because that's the thing you said earlier about stand up where it's you can just start and that is simultaneously the great thing and the hard thing about it is you can just start.
Yeah.
And then once you get good at it, it isn't. I don't think it is like it was 15 years ago. Being good is it should be the most important thing.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things you also have to get good at while getting good at the hardest thing to get good at.
Now you have to be a social media manager at the same damn time and graphic, just be able to make some content and a videographer and a sketch writer and
You've got
I really got to be a multi-talented person.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We're all hybrids now.
Totally.
Which is fucking A.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's also cool because you can exercise different pieces of your brain and stuff like that. And there's something to do during the day.
Yeah.
Too. So besides write, all the intricate jokes.
Well, there's also things where it's all right, you could balance. I feel like I used to get really frustrated with this, but now you can balance it where it's you're writing bits and then you get those days where you're just your head just doesn't want to communicate.
Totally.
So you're but wait, what if I just then edit together this dumb fucking video I shot last night? I'll just do that instead. And then you're
my still productive.
My head wants to do this today, and then the next day it's I couldn't sit and edit shit now. I hate fucking editing, but you know what I do feel like doing? Writing.
Yeah.
So it's
the
balance,
there's a good and a bad to it.
Now,
For sure.
so we should get to your because
Yes.
we should get to the point. Sorry. So
Yes.
Laura,
Let me pull up my words.
will you? Yes, when you get them up, because I'm going to jot them down.
Put that notes out for me so I can see
Will
it.
you please give us your 5 words?
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting story. The first one is mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
The second one is college.
That's a good time. That's already a good time.
Team.
Race.
Then captain.
Ooh, shit. All right, so here we go. The words are mayonnaise, college, team, race, and captain. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
You can go first.
All right, so I think, knowing you're trying to throw us off the scent here. But I think basically the first two words tell us about the time that you wanted to be a doctor and you applied to learn at the Mayo Clinic.
The mayonnaise clinic.
Right.
That's fully referred to.
right. People don't realize the Mayo Clinic is
actually short.
Right, it's short. Mayonnaise.
We ran out of budget for the rest of the sign.
Right, John C. Mayonnaise, the guy who discovered cancer. So you were applying to study at the Mayo Clinic, and you were on a team of scientists.
I was.
People know this, right? You were on a team.
And.
Yes, and exactly. And it was a race to see who could prove that they were more worthy to get into the college, right? Mm-hmm. And you decided, I know, fuck the studies. This is a trick. I'm going to, because you had the performer in you, you gave the "Oh Captain, My Captain" speech. You did the scene right there from the Robin Williams film, Dead Poet Society, thinking, oh my God, they're just going to be overwhelmed and be like, you're in, kid. And they didn't, obviously, because you...
Here we are.
Because here we are. So that's my story, is your story of failure, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what's yours, Caitlin?
I'm going to go a little more with the real definition of mayonnaise,
Okay.
which is something that was used for a time when you were in college as like part of a hazing thing. They like all the girls were like switching shampoos to mayo, and everyone was getting gross mayo in their hair, and
that's a
you
good
hated mayonnaise. So you really didn't like this prank. Oh, I can't see the next word. But it was like sort of the way to like know that you were part of a team.
Yeah.
So it happened to you. You hate it that it's happening, but you just hate the feeling of mayo. So you don't end up washing it completely out of your hair. You're just like, I gotta get out of the shower. Like, I'm freaked out. And then your team has a race, and as you are racing, some of the mayonnaise like comes out in the pool and starts like kind of grossly filtering the pool where it's like harder to see, and the race has to be stopped. And you think you're gonna get into really big trouble, but your team thought it was hilarious, and they made you captain.
That's a better story.
Both pretty good. Both
Spot
not
on.
close.
No, yeah.
Well, yours is closer, actually.
All right, Caitlin's closer. Okay, that's it. That's the... You won the competition.
You won the
closest
competition
for
this
week.
round. You won the race.
Competition to make it as absurd as possible.
Yours is pretty absurd.
Yeah.
What's the real story?
Okay, so this is you were correct with the, not that it was hazing, it was accidental hazing. How about that? Because I'm an idiot, is the thesis of this story. So it's my freshman year of college, and we go to do like a team bonding ritual thing. Like, it's all like cute little like games that we're playing with one another. Like, you know, the fluffy bunny, you put your marshmallows and you're like, fluffy bunny, like that kind of game. So
fluffy bunny.
Pretty straightforward stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, this for our last like little game, like this is like for the freshmen to do it and everyone to cheer them on. We're going to have an ice cream eating contest.
Oh, no.
I know. You see where we're going with this.
Okay.
So, and I'm like there's like 7 of us or so in the grade, and I'm pretty fired up. This is in the beginning of college. So we're still trying to like prove like, hey, like I'm good at, competing and like I'm, I'll be great for the team.
Yeah.
Definitely trying to prove yourself, and which is important. So we get the bowls of ice cream, and they're covered in whipped cream, and they were like, whoever finishes last has to do a really gross competition, or like a gross, like, punishment, not punishment, but like something gross. And I'm like, fuck that. That's not going to be me. Definitely not. That's not going to happen to me.
Crush it.
Nope, not today. Game face on. The captain gives me my bowl. We start the competition, and I bolt this bowl down like so fast, like brain completely like blackout, just like
Ice
get
cream.
second.
What?
And then kind of like when you're like, I'm like, that's kind of salty. Why is your ice cream salty?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the entire team was like kind of freaking out because they're just like, "Hey guys, how does it taste? What's going on?" So what had happened? One bowl was frozen mayonnaise. All the others were actually ice cream.
Oh.
And the point of this was that someone was supposed to take one bite. The captain had specifically given it to me because she was crazy and so was I.
Yeah.
And she's, God bless her.
Yeah.
But I was supposed to take like one bite and then be like, ew, ha ha ha, like, and then not eat it. And no one else but her knew who had it. And they were like, holy shit. Who has the mayonnaise?
Oh my god! So you just ate a frozen block of mayonnaise. Oh my god!
Mayonnaise, like a full psychopath. They were terrified of me after. They were
like, "Well, you proved yourself."
I guess, I was. They were like, "Okay."
They were like, "Laura, what do you think?" You're like, "I would like some more." Just staring, twist.
This
more,
is how we
please.
have ice cream in Rhode Island.
I like frozen salty, salty cream.
Frozen mayonnaise. Ugh.
I don't like mayonnaise now, believe it or not. I was like, okay.
That makes sense.
I'm a crazy person.
I fucking love mayonnaise. I'd like to try it. I'm going to freeze some mayonnaise just to try it.
Eat it fast.
And then the next, what happened to Sean? He died. He became addicted to frozen mayonnaise.
The calories that must have been in that bowl.
Oh,
That is such a fucking, I love when hazing backfires.
Yeah. It was very funny.
We're like, wait, why is nobody barfing? Well, I guess that's the other thing. I feel like women are not that cruel. They're like, we're not going to make someone barf.
They also
like yuck.
weren't trying to make us like eat a bowl of mayonnaise. That's like, to be clear,
Yeah.
the whole point was I was supposed to take one bite and then be like, gross. But instead, I just took all of the bites.
Your competition brain
completely
took over.
head down, no problem. And then afterwards, I was like, kind of weird.
So funny.
Waiting for everybody else to finish their ice cream.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Training has been successful.
That is fucking. I feel this. That reminds me of a time when, long story short, spent all drinking 40 ounces, spent all night peeing in one specific bottle, and we put it in the fridge as a joke. We're like, someone's gonna try and spit it out. And we didn't realize the guy was drinking it until about it was like, oh, is he drinking the fucking? Oh my, and we went and checked. It was just someone showed up to this situation, grabbed it, and had like more than half of it.
They're like, this is terrible, but short.
But it was
this
kind
may as well be.
It was like, oh, dude, fucking. It was like, I forget which brand it was, but he was drinking it, and we were like, we can't tell him. You don't want to tell a guy he's been drinking piss for the past 30
How do you
minutes.
take it away from him?
We just spilled it by accident. We spilled his 40 by accident.
This smells like piss.
And then we gave him a new one. It's like, oh, thanks, man. And we were like, yeah, man, hey, by the way, here's some $20 and some weed and some cigarettes. We were very nice to the guy all night because we felt fucking terrible about it. But
Jesus.
yeah, if you're listening, you know who you are. Yes, that was piss. I'm sorry. That was 1997 in Jeremy Jackson's garage. Anyway, so I didn't say anything before because I was curious. I was like, this might be her story. But I have a story about you.
I know. I was like...
But here's the thing. Are you comfortable with talking about it?
Totally. I am pretty comfortable talking about most things, turns out.
So basically, I want to say this was 2017, maybe? 16 even?
Yeah. Well, this was when Matt and I came to New York together to look for apartments.
So it was 16-ish.
Early 17.
Early 17.
Early 17.
So I'm hauling
this is a
ass.
great story.
Right.
Kind of.
This is crazy. From the old, and I had met you once before this.
Yes.
When it was like, oh, you guys are moving it. Welcome to New York kind of thing. I'm running, there was an old stand on 3rd. I'm hauling ass to a set from there to a set somewhere in Bowery. And as I'm crossing the street, I see Matthew Broussard, your significant other, shouting at, I couldn't see who he was shouting at, but he's shouting at people running away. And I remember what was fucking hilarious was what he was shouting. Because I
have no idea because of
I'll get to that in a
reasons.
second because all I saw was you. I see him, then I see you over by this restaurant, people tending to you, being like, are you okay? You okay? And Matthew then shouting, you come back here and fucking apologize. You come apologize. You fucking come back and And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I get to Matt, and at the same time, talk to someone who is tending you, and
you're like, what's up?
What's going on? And I learn from one of the people attending to you that you had just been punched in the back of the head by a teenager in a group of teenagers who are now running away. That's who Matt was yelling at.
Yes.
And my favorite part of all this is I look over at you and you are laughing like a fucking coked up hyena. Like you are right now. Laughing.
I have something wrong with me, you guys.
No. You were just like,
like the ridiculousness of the situation was hitting me way harder than any of the pain, and my body was just like, holy shit, I just got punched in New York.
In the back.
and
really hard.
Yeah. You were laughing so hard. I remember in my head thinking, is this how Harlequin was created? Or the Joker? Like, was she just turned into a supervillain right in front of our eyes?
Yeah.
But that was such it was like, oh, you've been in New York for 2 days, but now you've got a decade's worth of experience.
Totally,
here.
right? Just out the gate, it was like, bam, gotcha.
So since then, I've heard of other people being punched in the back of the head.
It is apparently a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not like really, though, just for people listening, this is not like because that's what I was worried about for a second. I was like,
is this every Tuesday now?
What? We had literally just signed a lease, and we're walking, and Matt had a couple spots, and we were walking between.
And by the way, I just want to interject. We're talking Bowery and 4th.
Yeah,
I was wondering. I never figured out exactly where it was. Yeah, that's not a bad area.
No, that's South Central Manhattan.
Normal.
That's like
normal.
Yeah. Tourists everywhere. It's not like to live in that neighborhood. You would need to make 6 figures
totally.
minimum.
Yeah.
And that's where it happened. It wasn't like you guys were in like East New York or somewhere where you shouldn't have been. It was like, no, you're where you should be, and it happened.
And it wasn't even late. It was like I want to say 9,
8:30. maybe 9 p.m.
Yeah, like kind of dark, but like not like crazy. Like I don't know. Definitely was like I was like because I did that whole of course woman like and did I do something wrong here?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't at all, Laura.
No.
So what my perspective of this is we were walking between sets, just talking, and we passed that restaurant. Right. I don't remember what restaurant it was, and there was a group of people who I didn't notice at all. I only noticed obviously looking back, and they were kind of talking fast. I guess Matt says that they were like kind of like loud, but didn't even think twice about it. And we're crossing the street. Like the crosswalk right after, which is kind of also crazy because it was in the street and like the goal of this was obviously a little different. And I had my hood up and I'm a big girl.
Right.
So with like, it was wearing a coat because it was kind of colder out. And I had my hair up like this, which was important for the punch.
For padding,
The guy flies up behind me and hits me in the head. It like running. I thought a brick had fallen from the sky, but I was like in the middle of this crosswalk. So I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Flip around, see that a guy had just punched me.
Right.
And I'm like, you just punched me in the head.
Yeah.
And he is super surprised because he expected me to go down.
Yeah.
But I did not because I had the padding.
Yeah.
And probably also
asshole.
And he also was like, you were a guy.
You're a woman.
Yeah.
Shit's just gone awry for him.
Yeah.
He's on the ground because I like kind of went towards him and he like kind of stumbled backwards.
Yeah.
And his friends come up and Matt obviously was on. We had like split around a car, so he runs back around, tries to figure out what the hell is going on, and then gets obviously extremely angry at this man.
Of course, yeah.
And the friends start getting in his face, and I'm like, okay, something's going on. Like this is going off the rails. So I'm like my hand is shaking and I'm hitting my phone trying to call 911.
Yeah.
Cannot call 911 because my hand is like smacking all over. So I just pretend that I called my 911.
Smart, yeah.
And I just am like, hey, they're on the way. You should go. And they ran away. And then Matt yelled at them to come back.
Yeah. You come back. You apologize.
I don't need an apology, believe it or not, from the man who just punched me in the head.
Yeah.
Also, it's not okay ever.
Yeah.
If that guy is listening, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. There's no forgiveness here. But also,
what's crazy is that I didn't go to like a doctor. I went to another set.
That's so
like a psycho. What's wrong with me?
Welcome to comedy. We're all broken.
Yeah. And I was sitting there and I was like, I for sure have a concussion. We should probably go home now.
The thing is too, if you were doing stand-up at the time, you probably would have been like, wait, I got to talk about this right now.
Well, that's been the
stage.
Weird thing is I was like, because I've thought about doing like jokes about that, but people get real sympathetic when you tell that story.
Yeah. You want to know
and I'm
something?
like, but what if it was funny? No. Because they thought I was a dude.
You should know, I did talk about it at my set that night.
How was it received?
Which was about 20 minutes after the fact.
Yes.
I didn't say names. I just was people. It was a joke about how people say New York's not dangerous anymore.
Yeah.
I remember like comedians laughing at it, but the audience, being
Exactly.
sort of like,
The audience is like, hello?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So then I see a couple friends and I'm like, hey, just wondering, does this happen? And they're like, no. To be clear, this does not happen to people.
Yeah.
Then I call, this is my favorite part of the city, my mother, and she goes, well, you're in the big city. God damn it, Susan.
God, I see where I get my sense of humor from.
All right. I'll handle this.
You absolutely should do a bit about that.
Yeah.
Once I get more like skill, because I think that's one that I can't just like. I gotta. Because I know what the hell I'm doing.
Because I didn't. Because I said did a joke. I didn't actually do a joke. I just repeated what I had seen.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that fucking nuts? But you actually have firsthand experience, obviously.
Yeah.
That would be a bit. I'm sure. It's such an interesting. Like the time I was punched in the back of my head.
Emotions. Watching a man discover he has just punched a woman, trying to knock her out, and then she didn't even get knocked out. I was like, you suck so much at this.
God.
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
I hope you didn't make it in the game.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You suck.
I hope back at the gang initiation
I hope
meeting,
he's getting roasted to this day for
they
that.
were just like, first of all, he punched, she turned out to be a lady. Like, what? Yeah. Also, just want to interject. She didn't go down. Wait, what? Someone's on latrine duty for the next 4 years.
And then
That's
the
right.
boyfriend was like, you come back here and apologize.
What also? Don't need an apology. I would prefer he just continues on his way.
Yeah.
I like that guy. I like that there's a gang that has a latrine duty, but they don't.
Yes.
Like I hope that guy. Yeah, that guy's fucking what? Like I
How
hope.
old were these kids?
They like 20s, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
So they weren't. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't trust my judgment 100% because I was.
But I was
Really?
picturing like 14-year-olds. Like
No. They
20s
weren't like
and-
children.
No.
They were like 20s, I would say.
Ugh.
Early 20s.
I like to hope, seriously, after hearing that the guy who punched you, I like to hope either the positive version where he that really fucked him up, realizing that he realized I hit a fucking woman, and then all of a sudden he goes down. Why was I even trying to hit a man? Why was I trying to hit anybody? Why do I need the approval of these fucking idiots?
Yeah.
What's going on in my life? I need to wait a second. I need to get out of here.
And now he's like a doctor, and he's like working on like the COVID vaccine. And I'm like, I'm a hero.
Right. Right now he joined the AmeriCorps and he's in like Brazil right now helping people. Or he went the other way, being like, yo, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'll hit the next woman I see, and now he still hasn't woken up from the coma.
Yeah, perhaps. I know. Yeah, I was like, you really are risking it all because like hit a guy, or like hit a woman, and like people will fucking fight you.
Yeah.
Like,
hit anyone.
Hit
but
anyone,
also,
but
also don't hit a fuck.
But especially like everyone around was just like, what? Because New Yorkers, like, they're not going to watch shit like that go down.
Fuck no. Yeah.
They were just like, what's happening?
Yeah, there was definitely a group of people involved that seemed to be like, but also like.
But then they see me laughing and they're like, okay, no, this is very classic New York. I think she might be crazy as well.
It would have like going. If you just kept laughing and be like, I'm stuck like this now.
He hit the laugh button.
Yeah. That is so fucking insane, and that is also like. Yeah, New York stripes times 10.
Yeah,
you're a lieutenant now.
Yeah.
In the New York Army.
Anyone that moves to New York and gets punched in the back of the head the day that they sign a lease, or move to New York right before COVID.
Should I cancel this lease? This feels like a bad omen. I'm gonna be honest.
Now it's great. You don't have to do your 7 years before you're in
exactly.
New York.
Thank goodness. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness. That was what I was worried about.
Yeah, that is. So where can we all find you?
I'm all over the place. I am on Instagram is like where I do most of my posting. I'm not big on Twitter because I have all these like little kids who still follow me. Yeah. And they don't love that.
I'm not a big Twitter
It's very
person
strange
either.
trying to push your content to like mostly age group swimmers.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, okay.
What's your Instagram handle?
It's Laura Sogar, just my name, Laura Sogar. And then also I run a comedy show. I run a couple of comedy shows now, but which you're on, and I would love to have you on soon.
On Thursday.
On Thursdays at Now and Then. It's got Now and Then Comedy is the page for that.
So. All right, so I mean, so if you're listening to this now, you've got 2 days.
And also there's like only a few tickets left, so shit sells out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
There's nothing to do. It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And you've listened to this episode, obviously, see Laura live. Yeah. Follow her on Instagram.
Listen to her podcast.
Listen to her podcast.
Which she does stand up too.
Get on. I know that we had planned on that before.
Yes, we would love that. I think it's fun. It's just fun to talk about how really great comedians, got started.
Yeah.
So.
And remember, life punches you in the back of the head sometimes.
And you laugh at it.
Laugh at it. But also, if you're in a situation where anyone who's encouraging you to punch strangers in the back of the head, they're not someone you want to know.
Get out of there.
In a week.
Yeah.
It's true.
Get away from that.
Yeah. Join the Peace Corps.
Punch them in the back of the head the moment they turn around and get the fuck out of that situation.
Yes.
Especially if you're by Bowery. Why are you there doing this?
So bizarre.
All right, Laura, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. This was really fun.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey guys, this is Caitlin. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I just released a new song called Little Voice under my music moniker, Candid Bandit. So here is that. Thanks for listening.
I got lost in a train. I thought its last stop was here. Found myself walking your block again. I got caught in the rain. I thought my last stop would be here. Found myself walking down your block again. I've been stepping out on what's expected. I've been stepping out just to get my steps